Hey guys, Kalichan here, coming to you live from Seoul, South Korea. And here with me now is one of the people responsible for SK's success in the LCS this past season, their sports psychologist, Lukas Schenke. Let's go back all the way to the beginning of your involvement with the team. How did you get involved with them actually? Did you approach them or did they seek you out?
I studied sports psychology and I wrote my master degree about decision making in esports and in League of Legends, and that was way back in season 3. And so I knew Christoph. You probably know him as in Rated, and we kept in contact. And after I finished, there was an opportunity because he joined the new team SK. And we had a brief talk over Skype, and I said to him, hey, I'm finished now. I've got an idea, maybe we can work something out. And then he invited me to Cologne, and actually I spoke to the CEO, Alex Müller, about my ideas and how sport psychology could help to optimize the performance in training and especially in performing on the stage. And he was willing to give it a shot, and then I talked to the team. We had a meeting and I explained them what sport psychology is, how it works, and they were willing to try it out. And so I guess after the first successes, we made a deal that this is going on since now.
So, what was the team's initial response to that? Were they skeptical about it?
Yeah, of course. I think everyone is skeptical about this because sport psychology is not as known as it maybe should be. You can infer from the jokes which they do about sport psychology on the streams and on the commentaries, even from the casters, that they imagine that we sit down on a on the couch and talk about childhood problems and stuff. But it has basically nothing to do with that. It's like purely optimization of performance and optimization of training and stuff. So it's really for the performance.
So, how was your first meeting with them?
I have to admit that for myself, I was nervous as well, of course, because I didn't know them. I just knew Christoph and Rated. I didn't know the other guys, so I was myself very nervous, and it was a little bit awkward position because we were sitting at the kitchen table and I was presenting myself and saying, hey, this and this I can deliver, this we can work on, and then everyone was like sitting there and nobody knew basically what to say. And I said, okay, let's give it a shot. We can make a meeting now and then, and if it fits you and if it suits you and if we get good along together, this is a very important point as well for me. Then you've got the trust from the team, trusting in you. This is like maybe the most important point about that whole situation. Then you can really start working in the dimensions that I already mentioned.
So soon after you joined them, the team started performing much better. How much of that do you think it was your contribution?
I don't know. I basically can't say. And you will never find out about that because, obviously it worked better then. And you can say that I have my part in it too. But I won't say it's like much because I provide know-how and I provide like how to approach things and why to approach things, and I've got like the scientific point of view on these things, and if they don't pick it up, then basically this whole thing is not working. So everybody has to invest in this cooperation, otherwise it doesn't work. So I would say 5% maybe to 20%, anything about that, maybe less, I don't know. It's always difficult to say, always difficult.
And coming into the summer split, I think your role in the team grew. So what other responsibilities did you start taking upon yourself?
Well, you kind of get into it all by yourself because you spend more and more time with the players, and if they've got some issues, of course they will approach you. because one thing about the sport psychologist in general is that everything is like kept confidential. So if they got like problems whatsoever, if they want to talk to me, my door is always open, and they know I won't talk to anyone about that. So this is maybe a good advantage about that. So you got some of private stuff going on. If it concerns the performance, I must say. If it doesn't, then it's not my responsibility. But if it affects the performance and the training and stuff, then it is my responsibility. And yeah, of course, I spend some time with the team always when we are at LCS in the studios, when we go through like strategies and picks and bans and stuff. I'm the person in the back. It's a little bit like that. They discuss it, and if I have a point to make, even if it's like a psychological point or how are we going to play out our strengths or something, I always like try to put my intel as best as I could in that. So yeah, I have like a little bit gotten into it, but of course I don't know as much about the game as the players, and that will never change basically. So
that was essentially their first year as a team together, and they made it to Worlds, which is a big success for them. But do you think it's a big success for you as well, professionally?
I don't know how to rate this actually, because I've been out of university for about a year now, and if I would have been working as a sport psychologist for 20 years now, I could maybe say how much I committed and how my effect is on that. But of course, it's nice to be at Worlds, no doubt in that. We are really happy about that, although we know our limits, and I know other teams are going into Worlds and saying, hey, we win it, we can do it, but we are not that kind of a team. We know our place, and we know that we are a comparable young team and a comparable unexperienced team, because we are a new team, everything's set together. So we just basically want to make it out of groups and then take it as it goes. So we are all very happy to be here and thankful for this opportunity. This is basically...
Yeah, and the bootcamp here in Korea is a great start for the preparation. What's your opinion about it? Do you think that we can make an analogy with how, for example, football teams go to such training camps before big events as well?
Yeah, of course, it's completely the same. What you basically want to achieve with this is that you make an environment, a hardcore learning environment, in which you set goals for the time that you have in the bootcamp, and you try to improve on certain factors with more of a certain goal, because you look at the tournament itself, and they are limited teams, they are limited possibilities of scenarios, and then you set your goals inferring from that. I want to put it that way. And so it's always important in a bootcamp to set your priorities right, to get a good atmosphere, I would say, and the will to improve. Yeah, I guess these three factors are maybe the key for a successful bootcamp, I guess. I don't know.
Can you share what the goals are then for the bootcamp?
Yeah, as I already said, we want to improve on certain things. The problem is that we've got a crush of metas here. As you know, all regions are a bit like playing their own style, and you've got to figure out which style maybe beats another style, and where you are at in this picture, and what do you maybe have to adapt, and what do you like keep the same because it has benefited you in the past. So I think that's a big point as well.
What do you think the team has most to improve on while here?
I think the point which I already pointed out in the last question. It's about like how to set the priorities in the bootcamp and in the game. Like, how is the game plan? How is the meta? How does the enemy play the game? Do they play hardcore warding as an example, or Are they going to play defensively and trying to stall it out into late game? This will mean that you've got to train different comps, late game comps maybe, or you don't go into that and you put everything in, all eggs in the basket and say, okay, we'll win this game in the early game. So yeah, they are strategic decisions basically, how to train yourself, because you want to train things which you actually need in the tournament. So this is kind of the most important thing.
Unfortunately, the team's coach, Incarnation, couldn't join us here. How much of an impact do you think that will have on the team?
Well, I think everybody is disappointed in the team, just because we worked together for 2 entire splits. And I'm especially sorry for Nikolais, because he can't come here, and he has been part of our journey since the beginning. So yeah, I Skype with him from time to time and say, hey, we miss you down here. And yeah, but I can partly understand the decision that Riot made, although it was a little bit last minute. But anyway, this is the situation now, and we will fight for it, and we will try to make the best out of it anyway.
And yesterday I was lucky enough to sit a bit in your meeting or session with the team, and you did that list of things that they are most important about for them here at the Bootcamp Mentor World. Can you talk a bit about that?
Yeah, my approach towards coaching in general is to use the resources which the players unlock themselves. So I'm not the person standing in front and say, okay, in bootcamp we have to do this, this, and this, and this, and if this is violated, you get punished. No, this is not my way of working. I want to make the players think about what they themselves want to have implied in this bootcamp and in this world, and what is important for them. And there were things like respect. There were things like discipline, there were things like having fun, like all of the things are important for them. And once you've got this little mind map created, yeah, I think it helps to externalize, you call it, internal processes, and to share them with your teammates. And this is important, because communication in team sports is always key to success.
And lastly, any small prediction about how the team will do in the group stage and hopefully beyond that?
Okay, let's be honest. The group draw was good for us, although I think in Worlds they are no bad teams. It's simply not possible. We have a doable group, I would put it that way, but it's still a hard group because we are at Worlds. We are not like playing any bad team. But I think if we like dedicate perfectly and have now, I think we've got like 5 days or something left. If we pull out like really good effort and efficiency out of this last 5 days, I think we've got like a good chance of going into quarterfinals. And this is basically what I said before, our entire goal here.
Thank you very much for your insights. If you have any last words.
Yeah, I would like to thank everyone that's part of the team, the management, yeah, of course our sponsors, everyone working from for SK, everyone that made this possible here, that we can bootcamp here. Yeah, and the fans, of course, which are watching and cheering for us, as always.